Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. And first I wanted to say that I haven't posted for a while, and my apologies for that. And I want to express my appreciation to everyone who wrote to me, asking if I was doing okay or if there was, any health or personal reason that I, hadn't posted in a while. Fortunately, there isn't. I've just been busy with a few other things. The foundation that I work for is actually sponsoring a scientific conference in Florida in a couple weeks, so I've been pretty busy with that and other work-related stuff. To the theme of today's video, it is February 29th, Leap Day, and that also happens to be Rare Disease Day because it's the rarest day. It only happens once every 4 years. Now, Rare Disease Day is actually celebrated every year. It's just celebrated on February 28th when there isn't actually February 29th. And I wanted to mention also that I have a close friend who also has limb girdle muscular dystrophy, whose birthday is on February 28th. So 3 out of every 4 years, Rare Disease Day is actually on her birthday. Turns out she wasn't even born in a leap year, so the 29th isn't her birthday. Okay, so what do you say to someone to commemorate Rare Disease Day? People have pointed out that it sounds a little, Happy Rare Disease Day. Well, okay, yeah, that's not actually a happy occasion. I'm not happy about having a rare disease, which is true, but maybe another way of looking about it is, okay, you can be happy that rare diseases are being acknowledged and that there is a day every year dedicated to raising people's awareness of them. So a couple facts about rare diseases. It's thought that there are some 7,000 rare diseases out there that have been medically defined. While collectively each individual rare disease affects a fairly small number of patients. And there's different definitions for what officially constitutes a rare disease in the US and Europe. In Europe, I think it's a certain percentage of the population. In the US, I think any disease that affects less than 100,000 people is considered a rare disease. So every neuromuscular disease out there is pretty much considered a rare disease. And what that means in terms of the regulatory is that there are special sort of programs and incentives for developing treatments for rare diseases, and the fact that those have been put in place in both the US and other countries is one reason that there's a lot of activity in the pharma and biotech world trying to develop treatments for rare diseases. Now, a lot of that is the regulatory landscape, but a lot of that is also that we have a lot of advances in genetic diagnosis, and other biotechnology areas that make treatments that really no one could practically conceive of coming into existence before are now possible. So what I was going to say is actually there's something even beyond rare diseases called ultra rare diseases, and I forget the exact definition of those. It turns out that what I have is considered an ultra rare disease. I think it may be less than 10,000, people are affected. It's thought that there's between 2,000 and 3,000 people in the U.S. that have, my exact condition, limb girdle muscular dystrophy type, either B2 in the old nomenclature or 2B in the old nomenclature, or R2 in the modern nomenclature that was introduced a few years ago. And also in conjunction with Rare Disease Day, I wanted to give you a little bit of an update on gene therapy for limb girdle muscular dystrophy. Not my particular type, but the company Sarepta Therapeutics that announced these new results is also working on a treatment for what I have and a few other genetic types. Okay, so I posted a video before on some of the the results that were announced last year. So basically, they treated 3 people early in 2019, and then later that year reported the amount of the protein that they were able to express via the gene therapy treatment that their bodies couldn't normally have made. And then later in the year, they reported functional measures on how the people were actually doing. Okay, now after that, the next step was to treat 3 additional patients at a dose that was 4 times higher than the previous dose. Okay, why do that? Now, the people that received the lower dose a little over a year ago were able to make about half as much of this missing protein, beta-sarcoglycan, as healthy people make. So, that's looks like it's helping them, but can we use a higher dose and have it still be safe and get them to make 100% of what a healthy person would make? And so they now have treated 3 additional patients, the company just announced a few days ago, at 4 times that dose. The company didn't say anything about there being any safety issues. We don't know yet what the functional benefit the people will experience, because that takes several months to see how they evolve and do the testing, or the amount of protein that's being made, because you have to do a muscle biopsy, and typically they wait a few months after the treatment before you do that. So it's actually a milestone that the 3 patients have now been treated in this new trial, and then the company has said that, okay, depending on how these patients do relative to the previous patients, we'll decide what dose we actually want to use for the final clinical trial, which hopefully should result in the therapy's approval, and also get all of the manufacturing set up. Once the drug is on the market, how will we make enough to treat all of the patients who need it, and also discuss with regulatory agencies what needs to happen, and what needs to be measured in the clinical trial for the drug to be approvable if everything goes well. So that's kind of a nice bit of news in conjunction with Rare Disease Day. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that most rare diseases are genetic in origin. Now, genetic diseases are not necessarily synonymous with genetic diseases and rare diseases are not necessarily synonymous, but most rare diseases are genetic, and almost all genetic diseases are rare diseases. So with that, I will wish you a happy Leap Day, and hope you're aware now of Rare Disease Day and why it's important, and also in advances in gene therapy. And I'm kind of psyched that I'm filming this about 5:30, and you can still see a little bit of light behind me, which is kind of nice. It means spring is coming. So anyway, if you're in the northern hemisphere, happy spring very soon, and I will talk to you later. Bye.